This is Gamble Quest, where we discuss all things gambling, poker, blackjack, roulette, dice. It doesn't matter. If you're gambling on it, we discussing it. Let's go on this journey together as we educate ourselves on the gambling world. What's up, everybody? This is Emmanuel at Gamble Quest, and today we're going to be talking about gambling in prison. We're going to be speaking with my cousin Reggie. He is a collection supervisor here at the city of St. Petersburg. And first thing I want to say is it's not about where you start in life, it's about where you finish. And first thing I want to say, cuz, is thank you for coming. Thank you for taking time out your day. I really appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
I know you're busy. I know you're really busy with the family and work. So, cuz, how long were you in prison?
A little over 5 years.
5 years. And what were some of the places you was at?
Avon Park, Walton County. That's Defuniak Springs.
Okay.
Everybody go through. If you're in Central Florida, you're gonna go through OCI.
Mm-hmm.
That's a reception center for Central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And so then from there, because I went to the Panhandle, 9 times 10 you're gonna stop at Butler.
Mm-hmm.
Stop being in Butler. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And then work release.
Okay.
I did. That's where I finished up at.
Okay. So, cuz, when we had the get-togethers and the cookouts or whatever, when the Spades games come out,
Yeah.
you always say, "This is how I fed myself." That's your famous quote. Let's start right there. Where did that quote come from?
And
for people, okay, sorry to cut you off, cuz, but people don't know, Spades is a card game where you play with a partner and you play against 2 other people, so it's 2 versus 2. But yeah, go ahead, cuz, where did that quote come from? When the Spades come out, I used to feed myself.
Okay, so where it came from, being a man and who I thought I was, it's hard getting a handout.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have family, and sometimes they want to send me money. I was like, no, I had to find a way to feed myself.
Mm-hmm.
And the way to feed myself, there's a lot of different ways, and gambling was a way.
Mm-hmm.
Of the road, gambling was a way. And so I learned, I grew up playing spades ever since I was little. And so when I remember I got into the county, and our cousin Reggie,
Mm-hmm.
we was in the same county together.
Okay.
So everybody that's Charlie Reggie, I was Brenda Reggie.
Okay. Yeah.
So we was in the county together, and he had a partner,
and
they grew up together. And I thought I was good.
Mm-hmm.
And so we played against them, and they crushed me.
Yeah.
The worst lesson whooping I ever had in spades.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I would never allow nobody to do that to me again.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned from some of the best.
Okay.
They was great in spades.
Okay.
And so when I went up the road, I kept, my craft, I kept making it better and better, and understanding how to count the cards, looking at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in poker,
mm-hmm.
you could see what facial expression,
mm-hmm.
what people's hands is.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to understand, because I love people, I love the mind.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding what people thinking, I could understand what they had in their hand and how to defeat them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you always look for weakness.
True.
So I look for the weakness. So, I was a talker.
Yeah.
And I taught people out their game.
Yeah.
So, going back to the answer to that question, I had to feed myself. They didn't want nothing from my family.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want them. They had a life to live.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we was talking earlier, and you was telling me, you always understood you got yourself in this.
Exactly.
So you took accountability.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to take accountability.
Mm-hmm.
So it was out of eating always at the chow hall, or if I want a little better, I got on that table.
Yes, sir.
And that's how I fed myself.
Okay. So what role does gambling play in prison?
It's one of the biggest things, everything. Gambling, for a lot of the people, I say about 90%, gambling is like they first. 90%.
That's how they do their time.
That's how they do their time.
Yeah.
You got to find something.
Mm-hmm.
It's different things. Gambling just was part of mine.
Mm-hmm.
But 90%, that's everything. and I'm telling you, they wake up. I'm telling you, they'll bet everything. You know, but when it comes to cars and special spades or pinochle, I don't care what camp I went to. You know,
Pinochle.
yeah.
Yeah.
So pinochle 80 cards.
Okay.
And so that was one, and it helped me with spades because when you learn how to count 80 cards, 52 easy. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
it does.
80 cards is a lot of cards.
Yeah, 80 cards, and when you become the best in like pinochle, and I'm telling you, people come, it's like, you know, it's people who met people who was locked up with me, and they talk about my game.
Wow.
Like, for real, like, some people won't much gamble if they knew I was on the other side.
For real?
Yeah, they'll go get me. They're like, oh, I'm finna go get my partner.
Shit.
And then they'll see me, and it's like, nah, I'm good. And so a lot of times I couldn't gamble because how good I became.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's honest.
So what do they use for trade in prison? Do they use the commissary or they use real money? Like how do y'all exchange the wins and losses? Like what's being exchanged?
It was commissary.
Commissary, okay.
Or, you know, because it was a few camps I heard it was money, but my camps mostly was always on the card.
Okay.
So money was on the card.
Okay.
So now it's still based on commissary, but you know you owe me $50. You know, but some people actually put up commissary. But some people actually saying like, you know, the money on your card.
Okay.
So then, but that was a lot of trust factor because some people sometimes, as we say, was betting on air. And they really don't have it, you know, but they think that, okay, my game good enough or I'm gonna win. And I'm betting on air. So you had to be few people actually bet on the card because the trust of understanding this person gonna pay me, you know.
Yeah, definitely. So, cause how are the games structured? Do y'all play with the jokers? Can you just kind of paint the atmosphere of like how y'all playing? Do y'all push the bunks together? Just can you okay, tell me first how the game is structured. Do y'all play jokers or ace high? Like, can you go into that when y'all play in prison?
Well, it's different ways.
Okay.
But if you playing with us, it's like no, it's no, like as we say, no crushes. So there's no crutch.
Okay.
Ace high.
Okay, ace high.
Ace high, you know, and we go from like that. So you have to get it. And so then most of the time it was like, say if somebody have a single bunk or they on a low bunk, we'll play on their bunk.
Okay.
And then people play on the side of it.
Okay.
But then you got the table, you know, because how the prison is like you got a par and they go all the bunks. And then you got a middle area where you actually got tables and the TV and everything. So a lot of times stuff was done like that.
Okay. Yeah. So what times did y'all play? Did y'all play like before chow or weekends? Like when did the games mostly happen?
Most of the time it was after, you know, you come back from your work duties. So most people, everybody out the bunk Monday through Friday from basically, you know, after breakfast to like 3:30, 4 o'clock. And after that, that's basically your time.
Okay.
So then that's when most of the time people play until like child time, which is dinner time. And then sometimes we'll play after that. Okay. And then the weekends, you got all day.
For sure.
You know, and that's when you'll play outside on the rec. And that's when you're playing the best of the best. So, you know, everybody go to it, you know, because you got everybody. You got
everybody on the compound then.
On the compound then. Yeah.
Because when it was just in you and your dorm, it's just the people in your dorm.
Yeah.
But then when you go out, everybody out from everybody. So that's the best.
That's the best.
That's how you know you're ready.
That's how you know you're ready. And you know, and like I said, you know, it did make you feel good when you know you chilling or you just working out, and it was like they'll come get you and they be like, "Oh well," you know, that was my nickname. Well, we got some ducks. Like, come on, man. Yeah. And like I was so good, it's like you don't got to put up nothing. Yeah. I got you, because they knew it was like it was gold. Like 9 times 10, we for the win.
For sure.
Yeah, 9 times 10, we for the win.
So how did you? Okay, they came and got you.
Yes.
How did you choose your spade partner? Like what? Like did you like just see somebody and you're like, man, this guy good? Like how did you choose your spade partner?
Well, most of the time it was like when I first got there, like people, they familiarity. People just not gonna get anybody.
Right.
You know, so you had to be real good for somebody to switch out on spade partners. So when I first came, it was like homeboy. You know, we from St. Pete.
St. Pete, yeah.
So he was like, I was like, listen, I play. And he was like, man, do you play? I said, listen, man, you good. And so he's scared because he's thinking like, oh man, we playing something. And so we get on the table and then everybody watching me. And it's like, man, this man ain't playing like he good. And from there, you know, people just want to start, hey man, come play with me. And then, you know, so I really never picked nobody. You know, the first time I just told you it was homeboy because just, you know, first time on the compound. But after that, I just chill most of the time. It just, it really wasn't nothing to me because I know like if I ever needed money, I just, hey, somebody got a game. Yeah. And I walk up and they just gonna call me. I just had to stand there. Okay. And they gonna be like, hey, well, we got nets. Yeah. You know, and it'll go from there.
Okay. So how did y'all work on y'all strategy outside of playing? Like, did y'all talk about the game? Did y'all have signals? Like, how did y'all how did y'all work on y'all strategy like, when it came to playing?
Like, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people do cheat like that. A lot of people, they work on strategy, whatever, but I'm like this, like, it's here. Like, you just follow my lead. Okay. I tell them, just follow my lead. You don't got to just follow my lead. You know what I'm saying? Follow my lead. And so when you want always that type of player. So if I ever really want to like get down, I'm talking about like sometimes we run tournaments and whatever, and everybody put like $50, and you know, whoever team win, they take it the whole pot. Okay. So when it goes something like that, I want somebody who think like me. They don't got to sit here and run because you get caught, you know, on some fights and everything. So mine is just, we're just good with it, you know. And so I always get somebody who just good with cards. They know how to play cards. And I go from there.
For sure. So, in your opinion, what separates a great spades player from an average spades player?
My opinion, and it's just mine. Some people argue with me, but knowing pinochle. Okay. I'm for to tell you, if you don't know pinochle, you can't whoop me. Okay. I felt like that. Like you ain't much in my atmosphere if you don't know pinochle. Yeah. Like because, you know, like I'm saying, it's 80 cards. You know, and understanding how them cards go, you know, and how they play, you know, it's just advanced spades game. You know, and you telling me that you finna try to whoop me and you almost understand how, you know, you could get this. Like, you know, go to talk and I tell people like, I'm finna make babies. And they be like, what you talking about? I said, watch this. Yeah. And you know, then like me, person, I love getting spades out of the game. See, I don't like crutches. I don't like, listen, ain't no handouts. Listen, get spades out of the game. Ain't you for the cut none. Now remember the diamonds? Now listen, and I'm just running it. And people like, how you know to do that? But that's how you play a pinochle. You call what's trump. You make what's trump. Okay. And then after trump gone, everything live. Ace high. You know, but if you got the suit and you running it, see, I got people they'll run out. They want to run off aces, kings. They want to sit here and get the books. I keep just one in hand just for me to get back, and then all these diamonds, all these hearts, ain't no more spades. That's what's up. So all them other big books you got, they worth nothing, cause you don't get back in. How they gonna count? You're right. And so that's how, you know. But so it wasn't nothing about you know how to do it. You just know how to make a rundown. You know, you just understand, like, listen, keep this. You have sometimes, now it's a risk. So you got to understand when to play that risk and when not to. Okay. And so that's why I said it's a game of, you know, thinking. So I'm seeing who got the hand. So sometimes I will let your partner win just because you got the hand. Because I need to get back in. If I let you back in, I know it's probably over. So I'm studying and seeing who really got the hand. And then when I let your partner in, then he come on back to me. Now you just sitting there with all them face cards. Yeah. And they just looking pretty in your hand. Yep. But again, dropped off on my 3 and 4 diamond. Yeah. Cause they ain't worth nothing now.
Look, I want to go back to something you said. You say I'm about to make babies. What did you mean by that? What is that? What did you mean by that? By that saying? I didn't really follow that one.
So like I was saying, so you know, you always try to get a rundown suit.
Uh-huh.
So when I say I'm finna make babies,
Yes.
these 4s and these 3s and these 5s, they little
Oh.
babies.
Yeah. Okay.
But they finna be good.
Oh,
I'm making babies because they coming, them suit coming to me about babies. Little babies when it is.
Gotcha now.
Your face card, your parents, they stand in your hand. They going right on this. They going right on my little babies.
Oh,
and they coming right on the daddy.
That's what you meant by that. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's raw. That's raw right now.
So
I'm
you
about to
know,
make babies.
I'm about to make
So
babies.
you about to make these little cards win the
Yes.
hand, win the books.
Win the books.
Wow.
Because no more spades.
Yeah.
I took them out the game. People like, why you almost got no like winners? I don't need no winners. I'm about to make babies.
So,
see, you were to cut, y'all. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people think, oh, I'm finna cut myself to, get my books.
Mhm.
See, you already lost. See, I'm finna take spades out the game.
Yeah.
Now you can't cut. Now you got to sit here and win off the muscle, and you can't think now because you always use crutches to win.
Yeah.
See, I don't use crutches. I get it from I get it. I make babies.
Yeah.
So I understand why you sitting here thinking about your cut to win a book.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this 4, 5, and 6 of diamond.
Oh, okay.
You know, like that's how I think. See, I'm thinking way advanced.
Yeah.
You still thinking on elementary.
Yeah.
But see, Pinochle taught you that.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't think about, you know what I'm saying, all the kings and ace, king, queen, jack, and tens.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You had to think about every little one.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to see and say which one, how I'm going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this suit going to run everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make babies.
Okay.
See, a lot of people telling like Pinochle, you try to be two suited.
Mm-hmm.
You try to have the trunk suit and then another suit to run down when everybody else gone.
Okay.
That's just like spades.
Mm-hmm.
I know I got to have enough spades to get them all out.
Mm-hmm.
Then what's going to be my rundown suit?
Mm-hmm.
Now this boss,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody else only got rid of their diamonds or if they only got 1 or 2, I'm just putting diamonds, they going to hit them off rips.
Mm-hmm.
Then next thing they don't got no more.
Mm-hmm.
I got them all.
Yeah. So, cause you feel like you don't need a good hand. You don't need a bunch of trumps.
I don't need a good
to
hand.
win the game.
No, I don't.
Yeah, that's
and then another thing I used to say, I'm finna make you lie.
Yeah.
They like, what you mean? I'm finna make you lie.
Yeah.
Cause you said you got 6 books. No, you don't.
Yeah.
I'm finna make you lie.
Okay.
And they be like, man, well, don't play. Listen, I'm finna make you lie.
Yeah.
And they think cause they counted cuts.
Yeah.
You get cuts with Trump. I'm taking them out the game. And I tell them, I said, didn't you lie?
Yeah. That's wrong right
so,
there, cuz.
Yeah,
you got a lot of sayings, cuz.
but see,
but they all make sense though.
It makes sense.
They all make sense. You know what I mean?
And I need to get in your mind.
Yeah.
See, I need to get in your mind.
Cause it ain't even like nothing foul you saying, but you just saying stuff that like dang, like what you mean I'm gonna lie? You know
how I'm gonna lie?
I really got 6 books in my mind. You thinking?
And then you question it.
Do I?
Do I got 6?
Yeah.
And then especially if you know how I play.
Yeah.
You know, so you like, man, hold on, man. Webb said this, like, man, what I'm not.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you messing up your whole game. You probably did have 6 books, but I don't.
But I
don't bluff you.
Yeah.
I don't got you, just like poker.
Yeah, you're right.
So I know what I could do to some players, and some people, you can't run game. They good poker players, so you ain't finna talk me out. They be like, well, you ain't finna talk me out of this.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
good. Let's talk about like trash talking for a second. Now, have you ever seen like trash talking? Some disputes in the game lead to violence.
Oh yeah.
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 Serious violence, or it's just like a scuffle, or you know what I mean, or just some little talking. You know what I mean?
No, it was a good scuffle. But never. I never seen nobody get killed or anything like that over the cards. But I don't see some scuffles.
Okay.
I don't see some serious get downs because people don't play by that money. And just how I was thinking. That's why I didn't cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Because first of all, I felt like I didn't need to.
Mm-hmm.
But then second, because I'm seeing just the littlest thing, I'm telling you, somebody on Snap, and next thing you know, you be like, man, was it really worth it?
Yeah, true.
True. And to me, it's never.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
For being a good gambler or a good spades player in your own right, is there a level of respect in prison when people see you?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And but that's in everything, just in life period. When you good in something, people gonna respect you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't got to be a good person, but just because you're good at something, people gonna respect you.
Two different things.
Two different
A good
things.
person and good at a craft is two different things.
It is, but
Yeah.
most people don't see it that way. Most people, you know, give people respect just because they're good at something. And you be like, but that's not a, you know. So one thing I always, like I told you, you know, playing spades, playing cards was just a small part of me, especially when I was in prison. You know, me as being a good person. So more of my respect was just who I was. You know, they knew if like you ever wanted to talk to somebody, you know, go holler at Will. You know, was always supposed to be a little smart.
Yeah.
So if it was even talk about law cases, people would come to me. You know, helping them out with classwork because when people took class, you know, because it was like you were saying earlier, it was just all about making the best of the time I had. You know, I wasn't gonna let time do me. I was gonna do time. And so I always, it was just a part, just like, you know, making sure I wasn't locked up again, you know, caught up in the system. So, because I always said to myself, this is going to be the first and last. I ain't coming back to this place.
For sure.
So a lot of my time was reading. You know, I read a lot, you know, because I always say in life, no matter what you do, if you allow something to mentally get you, that's when the worst thing.
True.
So I never let prison mentally get me. So so my respect was on so many different levels. You know, it wasn't just, you know, he was a good card player, but you know, just a good person. Like we were saying, it's two different things. So I try to be a good person. You know, be a helping hand. You know, anytime anybody need anything, it's like, hey.
And I think too, when people hear somebody been to prison or somebody's in prison, I also think that they automatically think like this person is a menace, for you know, for a goon or a thug. But there's some really good people in prisons that have just made a bad decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just don't know how true that is. So you know, being a supervisor, you know, I deal with some people that never actually been around people like this.
Yeah.
And so their idea of what a person being in prison is that menace.
Yeah. Yep.
And so they be going, they be talking, they be like, yeah, and people just, you know, especially we'll be on the interview process. I'm just say like this, and it's like, man, he been in prison a lot of times. Like, man, I don't know, he been in prison. I tell them, you know, I've been in prison. Yeah. And they be saying, stop joking, Reggie. Yeah. It's like, no, I have. Yeah. And you know, a lot of times I throw out my DC number because that's something that you'll never forget.
Yeah, because you say it so much.
You said so much. Yeah. So I'm like, yes, S09257. Yeah. And it was like, and now it's shame. You know, and they was like, wow. And they was like, how much time you did? I tell them, you know, I tell the whole truth. I said, first of all, I got sentenced to 20 years. You know, I was able to, you know, go stay in a law library, got 14 years knocked off. I did a 6-year sentence, did 5 years and some change. And they'll say, I never thought that. I said, no. I said, I know. So don't always just judge a person just because they've been to prison. True. And you see their facial expression, you know, like just shock and just like, you know, but yeah. And you know, a lot of people say, but you're so good. And you know, good people like you say make that one mistake and it could cost you a lot. It could cost you a lot.
Now, cuz do you think that just going back to the game of spades, do you think there's something in spades, like the strategy they're thinking about the cards and the numbers of the card? Do you think that you can apply something that to the outside life? Did it ever help you with something in the real world, in the outside life, as far as strategy and things like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Because like I was saying, you know, never judge a hand by what you see, what you're gonna make of it. So when stuff get hard on me and it seems like, oh, I can't make the best of it, I think about them days in spades and I'm like, man, listen, you don't have worse hands. You made something out of it. So why can't you do it now? So you know, I think about, you know, David in the Bible, and he went against Goliath. So you probably had a better hand. You probably be bigger than me. You probably be stronger than me. But I got something in me that I'm not gonna. I sit here and got the determination that I'm gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
So just because what you was offered, your hand better than mine,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make what I got better than yours.
Mm-hmm.
So one rule I do, just like I sit here and hone my craft by, by myself. What
Mm-hmm.
I am. Like I told you when I learned the game, somebody beat me so bad,
Mm-hmm.
my cousin, and so from there it was like, you know what? I'm always honing myself. I'm always trying to make my best. I'm studying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm studying people. So I'm telling you, when playing anything, you can learn a lot about people,
Mm-hmm.
and learning about people will help you conquer
It's
anything.
a good percentage of the strategy.
It is
Watching people.
watching it.
Yeah.
They always say, "Do you got a poker face?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, some people just could lock out. So mine, I ain't have a poker face,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna talk a lot of junk that you ain't gonna know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk junk whether I have a hand or I don't.
Yeah.
Because your facial expressions and stuff could tell a lot about you.
Yeah.
So I put on masks and deceive,
Mm-hmm.
or until I get the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try not to do it because it can be used for wrong
Mm-hmm.
issues in life.
True.
But I try not to use like high play cards in life. I just try to use the good aspects or
Mm-hmm.
use it to help me, but never like to hurt somebody else.
Gotcha. Well, cause I just want to end on this. Um, is there anything you want to say about where you was in life at that time to where you're at now, as far as what you've been through? Like, what advice can you give somebody that that's kind of them been in the same situation you and is kind of trying to find their way now?
Never give up. Don't think because the hand you was dealt defines you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't matter what are you at today. Don't gotta mean who you is 5 years from today.
Mm-hmm.
So many people came to my life and say, used to ask me the question, Reggie, where you at gonna be at from 5 years? And a lot of times I did not know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to have goals, but when it was put like that, it was like, man, I'm kind of just living for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a good thing to do. So now I try my best to always just look out for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that just because I'm right here right now,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm going through this, it's not always going to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do today to make sure my tomorrow better.
Okay.
When I got out of prison, 2005, I said I didn't know what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It was 5 years. I got locked up when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
So here going 25, freshly out. Lost 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and time changed a lot.
They do.
If you out here living, it don't seem
You
as
don't
much.
notice it.
You don't notice it.
Yeah, you don't notice it.
But 5 years gone, and you come back, and it was like, man, it's different. So one thing I would tell anybody: be isolated.
Mm-hmm.
Go do whatever you got to go do. Go put that effort in.
Mm-hmm.
I was glad that I was able to get a job, and it started at the bottom with the city, a labor,
Mm-hmm.
making $8.93 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm making over $40 some an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And it started just one little simple thing, going in every day, just like, what, I'm doing my best.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I hanging out, I didn't do it. I sat here and say, listen, I don't really got it to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people rush stuff. Take your time.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time. Build up what you got going. And then when you set, then that's when you really can have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But isolate yourself sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Some people so scared to see like they missing something.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to think about it. I'm like, you just missed 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You still living.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to still live and you got to miss another 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned how to isolate myself.
For sure.
Because I said I want to be a leader in this life, and I got to lead myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I started building a family. I wanted to be there for them. So I had to isolate myself.
For sure.
So at times, just be okay to isolate yourself.
For sure.
you know.
All right, cuz. Thank you for coming on in. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, cuz.